You're standing at your kitchen counter tomorrow morning, and you're about to make the first food decision of your day. You probably think the safest move is to take something out. Skip the toast, avoid the juice, maybe just have coffee. Here's what nobody's pointed out about that. The fastest way to change your blood sugar isn't subtraction, it's addition. There are specific foods that restore your body's ability to manage sugar on its own, and I'm going to tell you exactly which ones, what they do inside you, and how to start using them by tomorrow morning. If you've ever left a doctor's appointment with a prescription, but not an explanation, you're exactly who I'm here for. On Doctor's Plain English, every video answers one question: why is this happening in your body, and what can you actually do about it? Subscribe now. New videos every week, and the whole point is that you leave understanding something, not just following instructions. I'm Dr. Hannah Fields, and the most consistent pattern I see in patients who make real, lasting progress on blood sugar is that they almost always started by adding something, not starving themselves into better numbers. Here's what's happening upstream. Your body makes a hormone called insulin. Think of it as the key that unlocks your cells, so glucose, the sugar in your blood, can get in and be used for energy. After years of high blood sugar, high stress, and processed food, your cells stop responding to that key. Insulin knocks. The door doesn't open. That's insulin resistance. Your pancreas pumps out more insulin to compensate. Blood sugar stays high anyway. And because a 12-minute appointment doesn't leave room to explain that food can talk directly to your insulin receptors, that's exactly what we're doing right now. Think of insulin resistance like a gridlocked intersection. Glucose, the cars, is backed up everywhere. The traffic light, insulin, keeps changing, keeps signaling, but nothing moves because the lanes are clogged with debris, inflammation, damaged cell membranes, years of sugar spikes. Most approaches say fewer cars, but what if you could also clear the debris and repair the lanes? That's what these foods do. Some slow the cars down, some clear the inflammation, some repair the signal itself, and when all three things happen together, your body starts holding its own sugar down, meal after meal, day after day. I think of a patient I'll call Miriam, whose story reflects a pattern I see genuinely often. 61 years old, fasting sugar in the high 170s, already cutting carbohydrates, already eating less. Her numbers had barely moved. She looked at me and said, "I'm not eating anything. What's left to take away?" I told her we were going to stop taking things away and start adding. I organize every food on this list into what I call the 4-gate method, because each one opens a gate that blood sugar has to pass through. Gate 1 is the intake gate. Gate 2 is the inflammation gate. Gate 3 is the receptor gate. Gate 4, the one most people have never heard explained, is the liver gate. Gate 1, slow the flood. Fenugreek seeds and chia seeds both form a thick gel in your stomach that physically slows how fast carbohydrates enter your bloodstream. No flood, no spike, no panic insulin response. For fenugreek, soak 1 teaspoon of whole seeds in water overnight. Drink it before breakfast. For chia, 1 to 2 tablespoons stirred into yogurt or water. 10 minutes to gel. Both are inexpensive, both are available at any grocery store, and both start working within days. Gate 2. Cool the inflammation. Insulin resistance is driven in large part by chronic, low-grade inflammation that physically blocks the insulin signal at the surface of your cells. Fatty fish, salmon, mackerel, sardines, and walnuts both contain omega-3 fats that lower those inflammatory signals, repair cell membranes, and help the receptors start functioning again. 2 palm-sized servings of fatty fish per week. A small handful of raw or dry roasted walnuts replacing a processed snack, not added on top of one. Gate 3. Restore the signal. Ceylon cinnamon, the variety labeled true cinnamon, not the common cassia, contains polyphenols that behave almost like insulin's assistant, helping your receptors grip glucose more efficiently. Research from the USDA's Human Nutrition Research Center found under half a teaspoon daily meaningfully lowered fasting glucose in adults with type 2 diabetes. A 1/4 teaspoon in your morning coffee is enough. Apple cider vinegar works through acetic acid, slowing stomach emptying and helping muscles pull glucose from your blood directly. Research led by Dr. Carol Johnston at Arizona State University found 1 tablespoon before a carbohydrate meal lowered the post-meal spike by roughly 20% in people with insulin resistance. Always dilute it in a full glass of water. Always take it 15 minutes before eating. If you're on a blood sugar medication already, talk to your doctor first. This works well enough to change what your dose needs to be. Gate 4. Reset the liver. This is the gate most people don't know exists. Your liver makes glucose while you sleep. It's supposed to, but in insulin resistance it makes far too much, which is why so many people wake up to a high fasting number they cannot explain. They fasted all night. The number went up. Broccoli sprouts, not mature broccoli, the small 3-day-old sprouts, contain a compound called sulforaphane in concentrations 50 to 100 times higher than a full head of broccoli. Sulforaphane acts directly on the liver, quieting the genes that drive excessive overnight glucose production. A 2017 study published in Science Translational Medicine from Lund University in Sweden found measurable reductions in fasting blood sugar, with the strongest effect in the patients whose numbers had been hardest to control. A 1/4 cup raw, on a salad or sandwich, most days. Don't cook them hard. High heat destroys the active compound. When I told Miriam about broccoli sprouts, she looked at me like I'd suggested she eat lawn clippings. 3 weeks later, her fasting number, the one that had been stubbornly above 160 every single morning, had dropped by more than 30 points. She was eating more food than before. Just the right food. Here's a question I want you to think about. Is your blood sugar highest after meals, or is it highest first thing in the morning before you've eaten anything? Drop your answer in the comments, because that one detail tells you which gate to prioritize first. Tonight, soak 1 teaspoon of fenugreek seeds in a glass of water. Tomorrow morning, drink it before breakfast. Swap cereal or toast for 2 eggs and half an avocado. Stir a 1/4 teaspoon of Ceylon cinnamon into your coffee. Before your biggest carbohydrate meal tomorrow, 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar in a full glass of water, 15 minutes before you eat. This week, fatty fish twice, walnuts as your afternoon snack, and broccoli sprouts on 1 meal a day. If you're on insulin or a blood sugar lowering medication, bring this list to your next appointment. These foods work well enough that your dose may need adjusting downward as your numbers improve, and that adjustment needs to happen with your doctor watching. Soluble fiber slows the flood, Gate 1. Omega-3 foods cool the inflammation, jamming your signal, Gate 2. Cinnamon and vinegar restore the receptor's grip, Gate 3. Broccoli sprouts quiet the liver, making sugar while you sleep, Gate 4. Open all 4 gates consistently, and your body starts managing its own blood sugar. That's not a temporary fix. That's your cells remembering how to do their job. Thank you for being here. You came in looking for something useful, and I hope what you're leaving with is the understanding that your body is not broken. It's been undersupplied with the right information. Share this with someone in your life who's been told to just cut carbs and hasn't known what to do next. Subscribe to Doctor's Plain English for a new video every week. And the question I want you to carry out of here, which gate do you think has been hardest for your body to keep open? Think about it, leave it below, and I'll see you in the next one. Everything I've shared today is for general informational purposes, based on real research and clinical patterns I see often. It isn't a diagnosis, and it isn't a substitute for your own doctor, who knows your specific history. Please check with your physician before making any changes to your medications, diet, or health routine.